Good afternoon, Rakesh. So we're YouTube live and we will be starting at 1.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, good evening.
Good afternoon, sir.
Um, Good afternoon,
Good
Rohan.
afternoon, sir. We're the host for the day.
Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, we would like to apologize for the inconveniences caused by the technical glitches in the former event.
Yes, but keeping that aside, I hope you all are doing well and were quite involved in the hackathon. If you guys remember, one of our special tracks was Alibaba Cloud based. And wouldn't it be fascinating to listen to an expert on the same topic so you can think of your ideas in a much more innovative manner?
Well, don't you worry, guys. We have got you covered because now we would like to introduce you to Mr. Rakesh Ramanath. He pursued his bachelor's in technology from the University of Calicut, after which he worked on various high ranking posts like senior system analysis, consultant, assistant consultant, senior developer, and system architect. He has worked in all these positions for several big name brands like TPM, Rakuten, Blue, TSC, Credit Cruise, and UST Global. He currently works as a solution architect for Alibaba Cloud and is a profound speaker. We are glad to have you here, sir.
Now, I would request Rakesh sir to share some of his thoughts and enlighten all of us present here. Sir, the stage is over to you now.
Okay, thank you, Rohan and Mridya. So, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me for this event, for speaking in this event. So, today, what we will look at it is we will see the Alibaba Cloud's positioning in the global scenario, and all the technology is moving towards clouds these days, and we also have a large range of product portfolio on the cloud. So today we will see how global Alibaba Cloud is positioned globally, and we will also see some of the products, how it's working, how it is configured, and we will see some of them in the Alibaba Cloud Console demo, so that you can do your POCs on top of Alibaba Cloud using different products and services. So with that, let me share my screen. Okay, so first we will see. I hope everybody is seeing my screen. Um, so first we will see how Alibaba Cloud is positioned globally as a cloud vendor. So if you see, we are number one cloud provider in IaaS and PaaS in China, in the APAC region, and number three in the IaaS in the world region. So this is the report from the IDC. We are number one IaaS and PaaS provider in China in the 2024 quarter. And if you see the Gartner report for Asia region and the IaaS market share, we are number three in the world with AWS and Azure being the first and second, and and similarly for the global also. Our data center is located in 24 cloud regions. If you can see, it is ranging from US to China, Asia Pacific, Europe, and Middle East. So there are a lot of regions in which we have deployed our data centers. Around 24 regions we have deployed our Alibaba cloud on data centers, and we have redundancy built in multiple availability zone also. So in India, if you take it specifically, we have got our data center in Mumbai, and we have got two availability zone for redundancy and high availability purpose. Apart from that, everybody these days would have heard about CDN, and this is a kind of if you have some static content or dynamic content, and if your viewers are all over the world, and if you want to reach faster your content, you have to deploy it over the CDN. And we are providing CDN services as well. We have around 2,800 plus CDN nodes on 200 plus countries. So in terms of data center as well as CDN, we have a wide reach over the global. And in terms of security, we have got almost all the big certifications on the global level, like ISO 27001, or in the regional level, specifically for certain regions. And on the industry level also, like PCI DSS for financial payment card industry, HIPA for health sector. And apart from that, we are regulated by the data protection acts also. So we have got numerous certifications on that area also. Now what you see in the screen is the not all, but most of the product portfolio that we have on the Alibaba Cloud. So on the bottom, if you see, we have infrastructure layer on where you can have the ECS. You have Kubernetes. You have serverless computing like container services. And on ECS itself, you have got different ranges based on whether it's a high compute or memory optimized or graphical processing that you need. We are providing wide range of machines. And storage side also, we have got a lot of solutions like object storage service. It is something like S3 in AWS, which is a high redundant and big storage for unstructured data. And we have got other storage also. And for networking also, we have got a lot of solutions. Like if you have some solutions on the cloud and you have some other solution on the on-premise environment or another cloud, you want to connect all these things together. Sorry, we have got a lot of networking solutions also. So on top of that, we are providing all the databases, relational data store ranging from MySQL, PostgreSQL, everything, NoSQL databases, and we have got inbuilt Alibaba built heavy optimized databases like PolarDB or lab database like Analytic DB, etc. On big data and artificial intelligence also, we have got a lot of solutions like Hadoop on the cloud, or we have our own Hadoop, which is optimized, which is called Max Compute, and we have got machine learning solutions also, which is called Pi. And we have got end-to-end solution for video and traffic or media solutions. Like if you want to build something like YouTube, we have got an end-to-end solution which you can just purchase from us. You just have to upload your videos or data, anything, onto our cloud. And IoT level also, we have got a lot of solutions. And on the security level also, we have got a lot of whether you want to have security on host level, or whether you want to have security on application level, like SQL injection attack or any of the OS provided attacks. We are providing a lot of solutions. So, so that is a very, very quick introduction on how we are positioned as a cloud company in the global scenario, along with the other vendors and competitors. So what we'll do from now is I won't be explaining all the products. I'll take only the 2 to 3 products, and we will go through some of the products, and we will see how to do that in the Alibaba Cloud Console, so that it will help you with your POCs in the hackathons. Okay. So first, let's look at an Elastic Compute Service, which is called ECS, which is a kind of Elastic VM, which is run over the Cloud Console. So we have got wide spectrum of ECS which you can configure in the Alibaba cloud. If you want a general purpose like for normal research and development, you can use a general purpose. But if you have a compute intensive workloads, you can use compute intensive ECS or high frequency, or if you have a big data specific, sorry, big data specific workload, you can take an ECS configuration like that. So depending upon that, the compute and the memory and the storage configuration gets changed. And apart from that, if you can do heterogeneous, if you have heterogeneous requirement, like you are doing some kind of graphics oriented processing, or you are doing heavy processing like cryptocurrency mining or deep learning models, you can use FPGA series also. So if you can see, the G series stands for general purpose, C stands for edition. So general purpose sixth edition, like that. We have got a lot of series, and we continuously update these also. Like the seventh edition will be the next upcoming series. Now, if you see, if we see the comparison against the cloud vendors, which is ECS, which everybody uses, you need a compute machine on the cloud for deploying your application or anything. We have got a pretty good statistics when compared with our vendors. Like if you have a ECS only on a single instance, we have around 99.975 percentage of availability in a 365 days. Whereas our closest vendor give only 90 percentage. But if you're choosing a multi zone instance, then we are providing 99.995, and our closest vendor is providing 99.99. So you can see that from an SLA point of view, we are quite ahead of our competitors. Now, how we do that is because we have developed our own compute architecture, which is called X-Dragon. And apart from that, we have got R&D Academy for machine learning and predictions, like called Damo Academy. And with our experience all through these years, we are able to come up with a 99 percentage accuracy when a failure is going to happen, and we can replace very fast. That is how we are reaching this SLA. So this is what I told. The ECS, which is similar to VM on the cloud. We provide bare metal server, which means that it's a physical machine as such. There is nothing installed in it, but you have the elasticity of the cloud. We provide dedicated host. Dedicated host is nothing but, say for example, if you create a VM on the cloud, that VM will be allocated to some physical machine, and this physical machine would be shared by multiple tenants, multiple companies. But if you have some kind of requirement, then you can have your own dedicated VM deployed on your own dedicated host. And after that, we have got serverless instance called Elastic Container Instance, which is based on Qatar and time. So all these things are built upon our computer architecture called X-Dragon, and our storage platform, which is highly distributed and which can handle high throughput, is based on Panku 2.0. So these are in-house built technologies. This is how we are reaching a very good performance scale for our ECS instances. So one more description on the dedicated host cluster. As I told, if you are taking a VM on the cloud, it might be on any physical machine, and you will be sharing that physical machine with other tenants also. So there could be some regulatory requirements, or maybe you already have purchased SQL Server license and you want to reuse the SQL Server license. There are many scenarios like that. So we can use dedicated host where a physical machine would be exclusively for you, and you can create VM on top of that. So we provide those abilities also. Apart from that, we are having elastic container instances like Docker instances, but it is based on Kata runtime. And so that is having a high level of security, isolation, and efficiency. And we are providing Kubernetes clusters also. So this Kubernetes cluster is can seamlessly integrate with say for example, you are deploying your own worker nodes and master nodes on ECS, it can easily integrate it with Kubernetes. Say that you are using a managed Kubernetes, that also can. So depending upon whatever be your runtime of Docker, container runtime, it can be integrated with Kubernetes cluster from Alibaba. Now, there are many instances. When you purchase any instance, you have to specify what should be your billing model, whether it's a pay-as-you-go or a subscription. There are many ways you can optimize your cost. Many ways you can optimize your cost. Say for example, the below graph which is showing, the blue line shows that this is your predictable workload. No matter whatever happens, this kind of workload will always be there. So when you have that kind of information, you can take reserved instances so that there will be heavy discount on your billing. And when there are the yellow shows that on certain periods of time, there can be some additional demands on your workloads. So you can go for a pay as you go or for those kind of or on-demand instances at that time. And maybe for some 10% spike or those kind of scenario, you can use preemptible instance. So if you have a rough idea about the workload pattern that you're having, you can use different options within our Alibaba Cloud while purchasing the easiest instance so that your costing or your bill remains good. We also provide auto scaling. Say for example, if your workload demand is high, you want to automatically increase your ECS. And when the workload becomes less, you want to automatically reduce your ECS instances. We can do that in auto scaling, which is provided in the Alibaba Cloud. And there are many ways you can create these instances, databases, everything in the cloud. But if you want to automate it, we are providing resource orchestration service and operation orchestration service so that there will be templates, and when you fill in the templates, it will automatically create, and if you run the template, it will automatically create the ECS instance or RD or the database or any of the storage that you want. So something like Terraform and all what is doing right now. Now these are the features of the ECS provided by Alibaba Cloud. Now, the other scenario that you will come up with is you already have some VM in your local machine or in your on-premise environment, or you already have virtual machines on other cloud providers like AWS and all. And when you move to Alibaba Cloud, how will you bring that to Alibaba Cloud? So migration is one of the consideration you have. And there are many ways you can migrate. One is you take open source tools, you go to open source tools, you convert your VM to image, and then upload it to Alibaba Cloud, and then you use to create. That is a very tedious process. But if you want to have a finer control, you can go with that approach. There is no problem. But if the number of virtual machines amount in all is very high, that may not be a very good suggestion. So in Alibaba Cloud, we provide something called Server Migration Center. So all what you have to do is that you can install a client on the machines that you want to migrate. And once you run the client, it will be automatically migrated to Alibaba Cloud. And you can view the results in you can view the status of the migration in the Cloud Console. So yeah, so that is a high level overview about the compute instance that is provided by Alibaba Cloud. Now what we can do is we will do some, we can see how we can do this in Alibaba Cloud Console. Any questions till now? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, so if you're first time using Alibaba Cloud, you can go to alibabacloud.com and you can create a free account. And you can choose whether it is an individual account or business account. And you can follow the registration process. And if you have seen, for the new logins, we are providing free trials. So if you go to the free trials, and you can see what all things are available in the free trial. So you can try now with your new login, the free trials, and you can see which are the categories what all things are available within these categories for the free trial. So you can do a try out of all these things if you are newly signing up onto Alibaba Cloud. Now, I already have uh, a test account, so I'll be using that. Okay, 1 minute, let me log in.
Thanks, Rakesh.
Give me a minute, let me uh, give me a minute, I'm setting my account.
Sure, no worries. So, for everybody participating in CrowdHack 2021, we have credits from Alibaba Cloud, which you can avail. The organizing committee will share the coupons with you. So please use Alibaba Cloud for all the innovation and all the challenges.
Okay, so I already logged in with my test account. So once you log in, you will be on the landing page. From here on the top right corner, you can see console, and you will click on the console. And that is how you reach your product section where you want to do all your configuration or application deployment or whatever products you want to use. Now you can see the screen that you're seeing right now. This can be customized according to what all things you want to view. But regardless of that, what you can do is you can click on this section, and it will drop down everything, all the products that is available. This is not all the products. These are the frequently used products by me. So that is reason it is shown here. But in case you don't see your product listing here, you can search for, say, for example, I want to see for ECS, and you can see the elastic. And if you click on the star here, it will be available in the left navigation panel. So let's see ECS. I select ECS, which is I want to create a VM on the cloud on Alibaba Cloud. Now I already have 3 VM running, which I will show you for something else. But right now we can look at how to create an instance. Now, if you see Elastic, you're on the ECS page, and you can see there are a lot of instances, images, network security, storage and snapshot, deployments, maintenance. What all things you can do with the ECS, all the options are available in the left panel. So I click on the instances section. Now it will show me what all instances currently I have which are running. And if you want to create a new instance, you can create a new instance also. So what I will do is that you can see which region you are in. Say, for example, if you want to create for India, you can create in India, or you can choose any of the regions that you want to create. So this is what I told in the initial slide. We have around 28 regions globally. So I'm choosing India, and let me create an instance. Now when you see, you can see the billing method that you want: subscription, pay as you go, or preemptible instance. Now subscription is generally for 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or up to 1 year or 2 years, like that. So if you want that kind of option, you can choose subscription. Pay as you go is on a per hour basis or a per minute basis, depending upon the resources you will be billed. So for initial persons who are doing the work, maybe the suggestion would be to start with pay as you go. And once you see how your billing pattern comes up, you can move to subscription. That is possible. Once your instance is created, you can switch the billing method. And this is the preemptible instance, which I showed you in the graph. This is comparatively cheaper, but This is only used for spike workloads because you don't have guarantee on these instances whether it will be available always. So this is used only for a particular scenario. So let's go with pay as you go. Now it's a region Mumbai. If you want to change the region, you can change it. Now you can select. I told you we have multiple zones also for redundancy or high availability purposes. So if you want, when you create, you can choose whether you want to create the instance on zone A or zone B, or whether you want to automatically let the system decide. So I'm choosing zone B. It's showing 2 and 1. That means I already have ECS, this many ECS instance in these zones. Now, uh, once you select this, now what you have to do is you have to select what kind of machine machine configuration you want. So this is what I told. This is a general. You can see this is an X architecture, and under general purpose is the compute. If it is a compute optimized, if it is a memory optimized, or high throughput like SSD disk you want, or on heterogeneous computing, whether if you want graphics card or FPGA instances, you can take it. So ours is a demo purpose, so we can choose maybe generation 5 large. Now it comes with 4 vCPU, that means 4 GB CPU and 16 GB RAM. And how many instances you want, I select only one. Now, once you select that, now what you want is that what kind of operating system that you want to run on. So we are providing a lot of public images, like we have got our own Linux, or you can use Alibaba Cloud Linux is based on Anolis OS. Or if you want, you can CentOS, or if you want Ubuntu or anything, or if you want Windows Server, you can use Windows also. And there is an option for custom image. If you have any custom images, I will show you. I will talk about this later. You can select that also. So let me select only public image, this one, and which version I want. Now on storage, what kind of disk you want? You want a high throughput disk, high IOPS input output disk. Then based on that, you can select whether you want enhanced SSD disk or standard SSD or ultra disk, and how much GB you want. 20 is the minimum. This is the system disk size. Now, if you see that if you want to have additional data disk, similar to any operating system, you can add an additional data disk also. I'm not doing that. Now, if you want to have a shared NAS is nothing but network attached storage. If you have a file storage, you can use that also. But here now I'm not doing it. Now, snapshot is nothing but, say for example, if you want to take a regular backup of your ECS so that you can recover if something happens. You can make a programmatic decision like every what should I say, every day 5 a.m. I should take a snapshot, something like that you can write. But I'm leaving it null now. Now, so once you have selected your ECS specification, the next part you can see is the networking. Now, this part you can actually do it independently also. Before creating an ECS machine, you can define your network model. If you have already defined your network model, it will already show what is available, or you can create it from here also to create a new VPC. So before that, let me quickly tell how the VPC look like. Okay, so say for example, this is your whole Alibaba cloud, which is in Singapore, and inside that, which is in okay, so this is your India region, Inside the India region, you can select a VPC. Inside the VPC, so the concept of VPC is whatever resources that you create, it will be under this ECS or database or whatever OSS. So everything will be inside this VPC. So I, as a user, I create this VPC and I deploy all my application inside this VPC, which is called virtual private console. Now, if some other user, he can create a new VPC. And he can create his own stack. So there is, even though both are creating in India region, they have no, there is an isolation, network level logical isolation between them. So that is what the VPC is. So in VPC is for a region. So you have to select a VPC. I have already created a VPC called VPC India. I will show you. I will show you that VPC after this creation. Now, apart from that, what you can again do a subdivision within the VPC. You can again logically divide. So this is your VPC. Now, what you want to say is that I want to keep some machine inside an isolated section. And again, some machine inside isolated section. So I want to keep ECS1 here. I want to keep ECS2 here. So inside the VPC, again, you can provide a network level isolation, which is called vSwitch. So that is the idea of VPC and vSwitch. So I have already created a VPC. Now, since my machine is on zone B, Mumbai zone B, I have already created a vSwitch on zone B and I have allocated vSwitch also. Now, next is public IP address, whether you want to access this machine that you are creating from outside network. You can say yes. If you say yes, a public IP address will be assigned to the machine. And you have to choose what should be the billing model, pay by bandwidth or pay by traffic. I would suggest pay by traffic because only when you are using it, you will be billed. Otherwise, there will be, if it is a bandwidth, there will be a static fee. Now, now after the networking, you have come to security. Every machine, you can put a firewall, logical firewall on top of it. I have already created a security group. I'll show you the security group later. So probably we can see it now itself. I have already created a security group. So if you want to create a security group earlier, you can, under the ECS, you can go to security group. In the security group, you create a new security group, give the name, everything. And the main thing is this one. What are the rules that you want to do? So here, what are the rules that I have given is, I am saying that I am allowing port 80, I'm allowing port 443, I'm allowing port 22, depending upon whether you want HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, those kind of stuff. And what kind of machines you are allowing, what are the IP address range, CIDR blocks that you're allowing to access this one. So this means I'm allowing everybody. So that is a security group. So you assign a security group to the machines that you are creating. And an ENI will be also created, which is the network interface card for the VM. And after that, logon credential, what kind of logon you want. You say that if you are using, you can use keeper or you can use password model also. So password, I put test at 123. 123. Then here you can change the name like demo India. December. Okay, so pretty much we have completed everything. We did the basic networking and system configuration. And once you do that, it asks to take the resource group. You can change the default resource group. These are all advanced configurations. Deployment set, it's an advanced configuration. So what it means is that when you create a virtual machine on the cloud, you don't know where it will be deployed, which physical machine it will be deployed. Say, for example, if you create two virtual machine, it is possible that both of them are deployed in the same physical server with any cloud. But if you want a high availability model and to make sure that there is some problem that the physical server doesn't cause any issue to my virtual machine, you can say that when you deploy it, you have to make sure my VMs get deployed in different physical machines. So that is where the deployment sets we will be using. I'm not using now. Dedicated host is, I explained it earlier. And with that, so this is your confirmation screen, and you agree to the systems of service and you create the instance. Okay. So you can see that your demo India for December, it is created and it is in the starting stage. Let me take out the filter. Okay. So it's running. So if you see, there are two IP address. One is the public IP address, since you selected that you want this one to be accessed from the internet, and there is a private IP address. So once you create it, you can copy this public IP address. You can go to any terminal. I'm using a terminal from the Mac, and I try to log in via SSH. Okay, so now I am inside that machine. Now you can do whatever you want. Say, for example, you want to take some source code from GitHub, you can do that, or you want to install some packages based on the anything, whatever you want, you can do it here. So I'm not doing much in this machine. I will probably show what I have done in the other things. Okay. So you can see all the things. So I have already created 3 different machines. Before that, once you create it, you can do a lot of other things, like you want to stop the instance, you want to restart, or you want to release the instance. You can change the instance properties, you can upgrade or degrade the instances. If you want to reset the password, if you want to create an image out of it, a lot of things you can do. Now let's focus on the instances which I already created, demo India 1 and demo India 2. Okay. Now, if you see this one, demo India 1, it has got a public IP address as well as a private IP address. So that means this one is accessible from outside. And demo India 2, it is not accessible from outside because I have not given a public IP address. So you cannot log into this machine from outside. The other one of the way that you can, in case you created a private machine, one of the way that you can log in is using VNC. VNC is a browser-based login. Okay, first it will ask for the password. You can, since it's the first time, you can give a new password, test12. Okay, so you are logged into the one. You say that my login is this one and your password is this one. So if you see here, I am already inside demo India 2 host, and I have already installed Apache server on this one. So I have created a new index.html, and I have written like I am from zone A. I'm a ECS from zone A. So this is just to show that you can, in case you, if you don't want to log in, you don't have a terminal to log in, SSH login from your local machine, you can also do it from the browser. Oh, I accidentally share. Okay. Now, if you see here, similarly in Demo India 1 also I have installed the Apache. So what I will do is that I'll just uh, copy the public IP address and put it in the, and you can see that this is my Apache server from zone B. Now I have created two machines. One is Demo India 1 and Demo India 2. One has got a public IP address, which is in zone A. Another one is a private IP address, which is in zone B. So usually in a production scenario, you for your internal applications, you won't expose it to public. So that's the reason I created two things. One is a public and one is a private. Usually you create it private. And what you do is that you create a load balancer and expose these two machines via a load balancer. So you can search for a load balancer. Now we have got two modes of load balancer. One is ALB, which is called application load balancer. Another one is CLB, classic load balancer. For application load balancer, it is on layer 7 traffic. You can do like advanced routing. This is on layer 4 traffic. So I have already created a load balancer. Let's have a quick look at that. So it is easy to create. You just click on create and it will create the, I mean, it will have to give the certain details. But what details, you can see it here itself. So I have already created with the name demo SLB India, and it automatically created public IP address for this load balancer. And now listener is another important configuration. So what I'm trying to say is that I have created a listener saying that this load balancer is listening at port 80. So if you make a request to the port 80, it will listen. And we go to the listener details. Yeah. So this is listening at port 80. Okay, and which are the backend servers it will be, and you can see that it will route once it get the request on port 80, it will give the request to this server group on a weighted round robin method. So if you see the machines which are the backend machines, you can see that it is demo India 1 and demo India 2, and it is on port 80 and port 80. So basically you get a request on the load balancer on port 80 and it will route the request to demo India 1 and demo India 2 on port 80. So that is the whole thing. I just showed you to see how a private machine is being accessed from outside. So what I do is that I copy this public IP address of load balancer and put it in the person, and it shows me that it is from zone A. I click on refresh. So it is routing request between zone A and zone B, which is in fact our virtual machines. One is a private and a public virtual machine. Okay. So the other things, okay, so the other things that you can do is that um, you can go to the detail of the instance that you have created and you can see the details. You can do whatever things that you want upgrade, which I explained earlier. Now what I want to show is that snapshot. Say for example, if you want to create a snapshot of this so that if something happens to this machine, you can recover. So all you have to do is that you can specify which all disk you want to snapshot and give a name. And once the snapshot is done, you can see the snapshots here. I don't have the snapshot for this instance, so that's the reason. Okay, you can see the snapshots here. Now, the other thing is that once you created the snapshot, you can create an image from that. So what I mean is that I have already created a demo India 1 machine. Then I created a snapshot of uh, that machine. So that demo India 1 contains Linux as well as Apache. And you can create a custom image on that. So tomorrow when you are creating a machine, you can specify that image and automatically it will contain the operating system and other softwares that you have already installed. So you can see that I have already created an image and I have called it Alien Apache. So if I am going to create an instance, you'll have to select which image you want. You can say that custom image and you can see your image listed here. So this is the use of the custom image. Okay, I think that's it on the Elastic Compute Machines. Um, how you can create a machine and deploy the applications. So let's take a few minutes and we'll go to the next section, which is database and object storage, which will complete what is enough for you to get started. So before I share my screen again, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. In fact, we do have one question from one of our viewers.
Yeah.
Just a minute, sir. So he asked, Sir Tarun asked you that, can you explain about CI/CD pipeline with GIT ops?
Okay, so that is so that is you need a CI/CD server. So basically, it is not an out-of-the-box solution. You can create that solution on top of it, but with Kubernetes, you can do it very easily. So probably I can show you that. What all components are needed for creating a CI/CD pipeline. So this is your Git where you are, and say that this is user machine, R&D machine, uh, developer machine. So once you do the development, you push your details onto the Git. Now what do you mean by CI/CD is you need to do a continuous deployment. So you need a CI/CD server for that. So you can create any kind. There are many CI/CD server available. Say for example, you can deploy Jenkins. Now what you do is, what Jenkins does is that it will continuously pull whatever you have checked in onto Jenkins, and if this is your staging environment, and this is your production environment. So then Jenkins will deploy onto the staging environment first. Once it is deployed, the QA will verify whether it's working. And once QA say that everything is okay, Jenkins will automatically deploy onto the production thing. So you can set up the whole thing if it is a VM on machine, but if it is on Kubernetes, this is pretty simple. we already have a full-blown solution, which I'll share the documentation on that later. But this is how usually a workflow happens. Oh, I didn't share my screen. I'm sorry, I didn't share the screen. Okay, so basically, I'll tell you. Basically, you as a user, you will be checking in your code into a Git repository, and you should have a CI/CD cluster. Either you can build it on Alibaba Cloud. The popular one of the popular one is Jenkins, which will pull the repository from the Git and deploy into the production machines that you are mentioning, and you can have the complete end-to-end workflow of the CI/CD. I'm sorry, I just draw something, but I just recognize that I didn't share the screen.
It's okay, sir.
I'm sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the second one. Now, we'll quickly have a touch on the databases and the OSS also. Okay, so because any application will need to interact with the database, and you might store a huge amount of files in OSS also. So we'll just have a look at it. So if you see the database trends, there is a big changes happening on the database where we only had relational databases at the front initially, but we have got a lot of new type of databases coming in, like document store, series, graph databases, key value stores, like that. But still, if you see, relational database store is the usage rate of relational database store is pretty high compared to others. But it is reduced from the 100% market share to 75% market share, and the remaining is taken by other things. But this is to show that the RDBMS and the NoSQL is going a lot. Now, the another trend that you're seeing is from 2013 to 2020. The orange line is on commercial licensing, and the blue is on open source. The trend towards open source is coming very, very fast. Initially, we already only had SQL Server or Oracle, which needed commercial licenses, but now we are coming with MySQL and other MongoDB and other open source things. So thanks to open source. Now, any cloud vendor, whether it is Amazon or Alibaba or anybody, they see that the database is the biggest market. So it is a very good skill to have. Whether it is on, if you want to deploy a database on IaaS layer or on a managed scale, or even if you want to do artificial intelligence, the database remains at the core of storage and the processing of the data. So Alibaba Cloud, we have got a range of database services. We'll have a quick look at it. What will be your way of deploying the database, whether you're deciding to install a database on a dedicated cluster, or whether you're going to use a PaaS version or managed version of the database, or whether you're planning to have databases on Kubernetes cluster. You uh, uh, Alibaba Cloud supports all of these scenarios. And Alibaba Cloud has got products on OLTP processing, transactional processing layers, analytic processing layers, and NoSQL layers also. So if you see, the orange is the one that we have developed in-house. The pure black is the open source version, and green one is an open source one, but we have done some modification to that open source. So we have got MySQL on the transactional processing like MariaDB, etc. On analytic processing, we have got Analytic DB, and NoSQL we have got HBase, Redis, MongoDB. So the choice of which one to be used is based upon your business, whether you want to go for NoSQL or RDBMS. But we are providing the entire portfolio. Apart from that, the other things that we have to do once we choose databases on the cloud is you want to migrate the data from one cloud to the other cloud, or from the on-premise database to the cloud database. So we are providing tooling on top of it, like data transmission service. If you want to migrate your Oracle database, you want to do a evaluation first before migration. We have got a tool for that. You create a database on the cloud, but you want to do a lot of interaction with the database, like it could be DML, DDL operation. But above that, you have a database administrator, and he have to give permission whether somebody has to be given access. So those kind of things, a GUI console is given by data management service. And we have got DB gateway and backup services also. So that is a whole range of portfolio that we are providing. Now this is the different categories of the database which I explained earlier, and some of the scenarios where you make a choice whether you want to use a relational database or a key value database. Like you want to have a strong consistency, you go for a SQL Server, which is quite used in banking system. If you want a caching kind of model, you go for a key value one, and Redis is a popular one. If you want a JSON structure data to be stored as such, which is called a document store, you go for MongoDB, Elasticsearch. Like that, you have for if you have relationship between the data, like social media and all, you go for the graph databases model. So it is more of your choice based on the decision you can choose which kind of DB you want. Now, the relational data store provided by Alibaba is called under Apsara DB for RDS, or Apsara DB for Redis, or Apsara DB for MongoDB. So Apsara DB is a stack of database engine which is operating the database cluster as such. And we are providing a wide range of machines, machine configuration while choosing a database cluster instance, different combination of storage, networks, DB engine. So we have got a basic edition. In the basic edition, you have only one compute node and one storage node. In high availability edition, you have got master and slave node. In enterprise edition, you have got 3-node architecture. You have got one master and 2 slave nodes, depending upon how much high availability you want. This is a technical architecture of MySQL, Apsara DB for MySQL, which is also called Alice SQL. As I told in the slide earlier, MySQL, we have done a modification on top of that, which is Alice SQL. So say that in your ECS, you want to connect, you have already created MySQL, it will have a master slave. So the master is down, slave will come as a master. So that means a high availability. And apart from that, you have you can set up read-only replica of this database also. So what that is, when you make a connection, if your statements from your applications are only read statement, like give me, select this detail, select that details, you can read from the read replica instead of from the master, so that the load is reduced. So this is another thing, like we are providing from an in-house perspective, we are providing a whole range of portfolio on that one, on databases. We have got our own cloud native RDBMS Polar DB, which is quite equivalent to Oracle in terms of performance. And we are providing DTS analytic DB for analytic processing. We have got marketplace where you have much larger database players, and we have got application database migration evaluation engines also. Okay, so how all the databases that it is not just we have put it in the cloud. You know, Alibaba is a big e-commerce company also, so our sister companies heavily uses these database engines, and we have got a big support of the tooling system. So I think if you're planning to have some database instances, you can definitely consider Alibaba Cloud. Okay, now what we do is that we can quickly look at how to do a database instance setup in Alibaba Cloud. So again, you go to the console, as I shown earlier, you can type for Apsara DB, and you can see all the different combination that is available. Apsara DB for Polar DB, RDS, Ocean Base, MyBase, Redis, MongoDB, whatever I have shown you. Now I'm more interested in the RDS, relational data store, so I take that one. Okay. Okay, I'll just, if you see the home page, you can see that I have already created one instance in India. There's a reason I created this one. I'll explain to that earlier. So basically, if you want to create an instance, I already have one in running in India, which is on a subscription model. But if you want to create an instance, you can create an instance. And you can say what is the kind of billing you want, which region you want, what is the RDS relational data engine, database engine you want, whether MySQL, SQL Server, Postgre, or whatever, PolarDB, anything. And then you can select whether you need a basic edition or enterprise edition or a high availability edition. And I would suggest for the demo purpose, you can use basic edition. After that, you can select what should be your configuration of the machine of the database cluster. And probably I can select this one. And how much storage you want. And again, you have to give the networking, which I already explained. You need a network regions, and then that's it. So I'm not going to create one because the next screen is the confirm order, because I already have created one. So this is the one you can see. I have already created a MySQL 8 version. I have only one primary instance because I chose the basic one, which is on a subscription mode, and it is on mobile, and it's in the same region. You can, once you create it, you can click on this one to see the details. Okay, it will show you the details of the selection that you already have made. Now, if you want to log into the instance, you can create account. Privileged account is whatever be the databases, it's like a super admin. You can log into anything, or you can create a standard account. Standard account is you create an account and you attach it to a database. I already have created a database called WordPress, and I have already attached a standard account. So that is what you're seeing here, WordPress admin. And I have given the permission DDL and DML. You can reset the password, hit the permission on normal things that you can do. You can create a database. That is nothing. And if you want to have a backup and restoration, you can do that as well. So this is another important thing that you want to see, database connection. So if you want to connect your database, three things you want. You want an endpoint to connect, which is this one. And you should have a database name, which I have already shown you. And you need a username and password, which I have already shown you. Now, if you see this is an internal endpoint, this will be accessible only from the applications deployed in the cloud. But if you, because databases usually you don't expose to outside world. But in case if you want to do it, you can apply for a public endpoint also. You can get it. But I'm not applying for public endpoint. I will have a normal one only. And there are other things, monitoring logs and all. Now, so if you have a MySQL client in your local machine, if you have a public endpoint, you can log in from your local machine. Otherwise, you can log into this console from any of the ECS instances that you have created. The other way is we provide a SQL Server Studio kind of model, a GUI version on browser version of managing the databases. So if you click on that, it opens something called DMS, Data Management Studio. Here you can do a lot of things, data import, data export. I'm not going to through all the operation that needs another day. So if you see that I am connected to the instance that I have created, and the WordPress is my database. and you can probably query whatever you want to. Okay, so I have already one user. Now, so this is another way you can interact with the database if you are not planning to do with the MySQL client. Okay, now what we will do is that there is one more thing that you have to make note. Once you create the database, you won't see an internal endpoint immediately. It's because if somebody is accessing the database, it has to be approved, or it has to be whitelisted inside the DB console. So you can click on configure whitelist, and you can say that give some name, and either you give IP address or is like this, or you can give a CIDR block. Okay, so if you see, I have already created a whitelist. Name is called ECS access, and what I have done is that the vSwitch in zone A and vSwitch in zone B, I have created as whitelist, so that if I have an application deployed in the ECS machine in the vSwitch zone A or zone B, they can access this. They can access this database. So I will show you. So you can see from the ECS console, I have something called demo WordPress. The reason I took this as one is because it needs a database. So if I log into the machine, I already have WordPress installed, and let me. Okay. Now, if you see, this is a config file. You can see this is my DB username. This is my database. This is the password. Usually you don't give the password in plain text. You should have it encrypted. And this is the endpoint. This is the endpoint is same as the internal endpoint that we use further. Okay. So with that, if you take the WordPress I have created as a public machine. So it has got a public IP. And if you can see that the WordPress, whatever this is yesterday I have written, maybe if you want to, yeah. So we can probably create a new post. Publish it. Okay, so this was just to show that the application resided in the zone A, and we did a whitelisting in the RDS console, and we were able to connect to the database. Okay, I think that is enough for the database section, and probably we'll go to the last one, which is the OSS. Okay, before going to OSS, storage services is very, very important for any cloud provider, because the amount of data that is created, the frequency in which it is created, which is called data velocity, and the value of this data, the insights that we get from this data is too huge. So storage services is very, very important for any cloud provider. And for Alibaba Cloud, we provide a wide range of products in terms of storage services. Like if you want to do a hybrid cloud storage, whatever in the cloud, if you can have a cloud storage on the cloud as well as in on-premise, and seamlessly integrate between these two. Or if you want to migrate the data between cloud and on-premise, we have got tools on that. And this is the public cloud storage. Some of the things we have already looked at. The block storage, this comes with the disk attached to the ECS machines. The object storage is something what we look at it. It is similar to S3, where you can store massive amount of unstructured data, and it will have a automatic redundancy, local redundancy, which gives you a high availability. And apart from that, you have got network attached storage, what is called elastic file system, and a lot of other products also we have like log storage services and all. I'm not going through all these services. Let's specifically look at object storage service, and specifically for Alibaba. In an object service, you have to create a bucket, and inside the bucket only you create your files, whatever objects. Not we don't say files, we say objects, and you can store up to 50 gigabyte of data. That is pretty very huge. It provides a RESTful API so that it is easier for to access from anywhere. One single object size, it can range from 0 to 48.8 terabyte, which is quite unique to Alibaba. And you can have DDoS protection on top of it. By default, it created 3 replica of whatever you have stored, so that it gives a 12 nines data reliability. And since it is an Alibaba product, it has got rich integration with other products. Say, for example, if you want to do a Hadoop, or you want to do some analytical processing, or you want to integrate with log service, monitoring service, it has got seamless integration. So these are the different features that is available within the OSS. One is that you have tools where you can upload files, you can append and stream large files into OSS. You can do encryption. You have 3 types of storage. One is standard storage, which is also called hot storage, which is a frequent access data. There is a storage for infrequent data and archive data also. And the billing will be different for all the storage tab that you are doing. The other thing that you can see is that image processing. Say that you have uploaded some image on our OSS, and while displaying to the user, you want to show a watermark on top of it. You can do those kind of image processing here, and it has got rich integration with Hadoop system and other systems. So a lot of features are there for object, which is quite powerful. So it is pretty straightforward, the OSS. So you can go to the console, you can use OSS, object storage service. Okay. Now here you see that this is your overview page. I already have 3 buckets created. But if you want to create a bucket, you create a bucket and you say my bucket is demo India 05. Yes. It should be lowercase. Do I have something here? What happened? Okay. So this name should be very, very unique over the globe. And not only in the region that you're selecting, over the globe, it should be unique. And you select the region. What kind of storage that whether it's a hot data or archive data. You can enable the versioning. It also an advanced feature. If you want, you can. Now this is a bit important. If it's whether you want to make it a private bucket, that is, you cannot access it from internet. You can access it only using access name, access key, and ID. Or you want to access from internet, but you only want to make it public read only. You are not able to upload anything. And the last one is read and write. So you can choose private if you're planning to do some kind of development on top of it. And finally, you can see, okay, so I have already created a bucket. So let's view the buckets. Okay. Now, if you see, I have got a demo India bucket. And if you go to overview, and this is the domain name accessible over internet. Okay, you are not able to access it because you have made, while creating, you are told it is a private bucket. So that is what the difference is. You have mentioned it as a private bucket. Now, if you want, you can upload the files from here. So select files. You can select any of the files and upload it. So this is just to show how to upload the files. But let's go to the other two buckets. Okay. Now, if you see this one, this is another bucket created, and if you see, this is a public read bucket. So that means I can actually browse it from the internet. That's because I don't have the file. Let me give the file name.
I think Sir might be facing some technical issue. I think we should wait for him to join again.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Sorry, there was some network issue at my side.
It's all right.
So can we continue?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Maybe I think I'm not sure where I stopped. At which point the network got dropped off. Okay, so I believe you would have seen how to create the OSS bucket. Let's see. Let's see the buckets that I have already created. So demo image bucket is one of the bucket that I have created, and I have two files inside it. I'll show the content of the file later. If you want, you can just download it. And so what I want to show is that this will be your URL once you upload to the OSS. So if you see here, I'm putting here. Yeah, so you can see that the file got downloaded. So so if you here, let me just supply. So if you see here, this domain name is same as the bucket domain name. Okay, and slash which file that you want to access. So I have got two files and I have accessed this one. So that's what it is. So if you see for node, there are other things which we can do with the buckets. One is, if you see here in the basic settings, there is something called static pages. And I have already configured the static pages. What it says that give me a default home page. I say that it is index.html. And what is your default 404 page? I say that it is 404.html. Now, what it means is that you can use the OSS bucket to deploy a static website. What I mean by that is you can create a lot of HTML files which will correspond to a website and put it in the OSS like this. And you can attach a domain name to it and which will point towards this bucket, and you can view from that. So let's look at the content of this file for a minute. So if you see, this is the content. If you open in browser, you say that I am hosted on Alibaba OSS, and I have got actually two images. There is a reason it is not showing. If you see the body, you can see that the image is, there is a domain name. So this domain name is not working because I have attached CDN. I have switched off my CDN. But you can see the other content is already coming. So what I want to show is that I have a website called blossompossum.com, and you can see that this domain name is attached to this bucket, and you can deliver a static website from an OSS. So if you have a lot of links, you can click on that link and move to the next page, etc. So that is another thing that you can do with the OSS, a quick creation of static website, pure static website. It's something that you can create. So that is it on the OSS. Now, the other important thing that you want to do it on OSS is you will be using, you need a lot of tooling. So what I would also suggest, whichever product that you are using, you can go to alibabacloud.com/help. And you can see the documentation on how to use a certain thing. Say, for example, I want to use OSS. I search for OSS, and you can see product integration. And there is, for all the products, there is something called Quick Start. So you can see, you can quickly start developing something on that product. What I want to show is that there are some tools. So say, for example, if you have huge number of files and you want to upload these files from your on-premise environment to the to the cloud environment, the cloud OSS, you can use something called OSS import. And there is something called OSS util, which you can use to do some kind of bucket operation, like copy file from this bucket to that bucket, rename this file, those kind of stuff. And apart from that, what you also want to know about is SDK. In your applications, you might be using, say, for example, if you have Java application and the Java application give a screen like upload your files here, and once user upload it, it goes and stores in your OSS bucket. So you need some kind of SDK to do the whole thing. So you can get the SDK from here, and you can also have sample code for different languages. So you say that the endpoint is the bucket endpoint. Access key ID and access key secret. This you will be familiar with it, but I'll talk about it after this example. And then the bucket name. So the bucket name is whichever bucket that you want to use. So you can have this code and you can do whatever things you want. If you want to create the bucket, you can call create bucket operation. If you want to upload some files, you can use put object operation. So you can play around with this SDK and do a lot of things. So just to show how this is working, let me talk about one more thing regarding the access key and secret. Okay, so if you see, when you create an account, the cloud account is created in your name, and you will have access key for your cloud account. Now, this is not an advisable thing to share your access key with others, because you are the owner of the cloud account. So for that, what you can do is that you can create RAM users. So you can go reach the screen like in multiple different ways. You can search for RAM and click on resource access management. You click on users and you can say demo user or something like that. And you can say that I want this user to access console, as well as you can API, and automatically generate password, or you want to create a password of yours, and whether this guy has to reset, you need a multi, and you create, this is a demo user, and you create a, okay. Now, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, I thought of the. Okay, so this is an already created one. So you can see that these are the details. You can see the access ID. And so first time you create the access ID, you will get an access key. This is a very secret information, so you have to save it yourself. Or you can create a new access key if you forgot that. The other thing that you want to do after you create a RAM user is permissions. What this user can do. So what I have done is that I have given this user administrator access, and I have given Ali SMC server management console. So if you don't want the user to have admin permission, and you need only, say, for example, this user should only use OSS. You can you can granularly select the permissions for the user. So this is the best practice that you have to do while you are programmatically doing something. You have to create a RAM user and use the access key and the access secret. If it is not there, you can create, yeah. You can create an access key and an access secret. Now, the reason why I showed you is because I told you there are a lot of tools available for either you can use SDK to play with um, OSS, or you can use command line tools. So what I have is I have already downloaded OSS import client. And if you see here, there is something called conf, which is a configuration folder. And if you go inside configuration folder, and you can see local job.config. So if you see local, which is nothing but configuration information, I'll show you the important configuration information which I have done for this one. So you can see the first one is source. Where is your source? Basically, you are importing from your source location to your destination location. So source location can be anything. It could be your Amazon cloud, Amazon S3 also, if you want to migrate here. So here I'm saying it is my local and local machine. So I don't have access key or access secret key. And I give the path of the local file. And the second section is destination. Destination is your Alibaba cloud. This is why we are creating RAM users. You say that this is my access key, this is my secret key, and which is my bucket name, which is I created now demo India bucket. And if you need a folder inside it, you can create that also. So what I do is that I will run this import dot. How this should be run, everything is available in the help document. So what I'm doing is that I am transferring some files from my local to the Alibaba cloud. So you can see that once you run it, it gives some status. Pending task is 1. It has dispatched the task for running. Okay, the task is running. Task is running means it is transferring the files. So what you can do is that you can go and check the OSS. This is the demo India bucket that I have mentioned where I have to upload my files. And you can see earlier there was nothing, but now new files has been added, and at the same time what it is right now. So this is one of the similar. This is a client bash script. This is a similar manner. You have to do it in a Java SDK or something like that. So the client will take some time to give the status because it has to clean up certain information. But let's say that import OS is completed and you want to stop. Yes, I want to stop, and that's it. Okay, so that is it from my side. I hope you were able to have a good understanding of the basic products, and this will help you to play with other products also. And at any point of time, if you have doubt, you can go to the help documentation, and it is pretty good written. You can go to the quick start section and do the development. Is there anything? Any questions from your side?
No, sir, there are no doubts.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time.
Sir, just a minute, sir. Sir, we would like to thank you for sharing your knowledge and thoughts with us. And that was a really insightful session, sir. And as a token of gratitude, we would like to present you with an e-memento. So I would request Mohan to share the e-memento with sir, please.
So thank you very much.
That is for you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, CrowdHacks team. I wish all the best for this hackathon, and I hope the viewers will come up with interesting solutions, and you can win the big prizes.
Yes, sir. And sir, just one more thing, sir. Now I would request all the hosts and all the speakers to open the cameras for just a picture. And I would like to thank everyone present here for joining us for this session. I hope all of you got an excellent insight into Alibaba Cloud System and a brief idea about its development. Please smile. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And before ending the session, I would also like to remind you guys that our sponsors, Alibaba, are sponsoring us with Alibaba credits and coupons to all of us. So if you want to avail these, please contact the organizing team. And also, we will have our first elimination round at 3 p.m. So please make sure to join us for it and see if you can make it through. Till then, take care and have fun. Signing out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much,
Rohan.
sir.
Thank you, Nurgia. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
See you. Bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
sir.